Hello, viewers. Welcome to this episode of the Women Rise. I'm called Madreen, and as always, we are always here every Saturday at 3 p.m. And each Saturday, we bring you a different story, meaning there is something new to learn and there's something new to share. Yes. Now, with me in studio, I have Miss Hilda. Hilda, we are really so happy. Thank you for allowing to come and share your story with our viewers.
Thank you, Madreen, for the invitation.
Yes, it's really always amazing to see that we get, women coming out to share, because it takes courage to come out and, talk to our viewers. And so today's story is a little bit emotional, yes, full of challenges, full of life tests, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And we are really so blessed to have Hilda in studio. So Hilda, talk to our viewers. Who is Hilda?
Thank you, Madreen. My full name is Rutasanga Hildah Katono. Rutasanga is my family name where I'm born.
Okay.
I am married to Mr. Katono,
Right.
Mr. Reina Rogers Katono. I come from Tungamo district. However,
yes.
I was born in Rukunjiri.
Rukunjiri.
Yes, and I went through several schools. I lived in Kabale. That's where I did my primary school, my first years of my primary school. And then I moved to Ntungamo. We moved to Ntungamo where I did my P6, P7. And then we moved to Kampala. Yes, I went to Immaculate Heart Girls High School in Rukunjiri for my 6 years.
Yes.
Senior 1 to Senior 6, and then from there I joined Makerere University.
Okay.
And I pursued a bachelor's in mass communication. Yes, and later I added on a master's.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
I am a mother of a number of children, but only one biological son, only one biological child, 5 years old. I work with Ministry of Water and Environment.
Okay.
I live in Seta. Yes, I'm a Christian, a very, very staunch Christian, born again Christian.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
That is Hilda.
Okay. So happy to have you in studio.
Thank
and
you,
as
Madreen.
Hilda, we get into this conversation
Yes.
that I'm also really excited to, to hear more about. You're a mother. You mentioned you're a mother of one biological child. And as we were, talking, you said it was really a long wait. Please take us through this journey.
Yes, so I got married in 2014 at the age of 34. I like talking about my age because I know it encourages some people out there. At 34 is when I got married. And when I got married, of course, at that age, we really wanted to have children like immediately. So there was nothing like family planning. We really were looking forward to have children. Unfortunately, it did not come that easy. The first year passed, the second year passed, the third year passed. And towards the end of in our fourth year, we got pregnant.
Okay.
We were lucky to get pregnant, but maybe before I come to that, in those 3 years, we had moved to several doctors, given lots of treatment, fertility drugs, and things had not worked. So at some point, my husband told me, no, these medicines, I think let's just stop them and wait on God.
Wow.
So we stopped them, I think, for about a year. And then somehow God helped us and we got pregnant.
And meanwhile, in this long wait, these years, what are you thinking as a woman?
Now, in these, of course, years of waiting, it's never easy, especially on the side of the woman. And even the pressures are there. The pressures, yes. The pressures are from out, but also from within. You as a woman, there is no woman who honestly goes into marriage and they do not want to have children. So the pressures were there. But like I've told you, I am a strong Christian. So I believed God. I knew that the God that had given me a husband at that age would definitely give me
Yeah,
children.
because you mentioned 34.
Yes,
And then,
34.
when immediately you leave campus, they will tell you, now the next thing is settle with someone.
Settle with someone. Yes, and I was not the type who would just settle. I waited on God until my husband came. So the pressures were there. Those moments would be there when you would cry. When I remember sometimes I would be like, this month maybe something is going to happen, and then you would be there and you see your period come, and then I would go to the bathroom and cry. Most times even my husband would not see me, but the pressure was within. The good thing is that my husband never put me on pressure at any one moment. He was my source of encouragement. He would tell me, when it's time, God will give us a child. So that kept me going. And maybe before I come to that, when we got married, that's the next year, that was 2015, I lost my big brother, my big brother, whom I really loved so much. And 4 months down, I lost my mom. I lost my mom to breast cancer. So it was a marathon of challenges. But because of the faith that I have in the Lord and the support of my husband and of course family and friends, I was able to pull through. Yes. So when it came to our 4th year, I told you we conceived, and then 3 months down, I got a miscarriage. So that was so heavy on us, because we thought we had gotten a breakthrough, and here we are. We have lost this baby, and it was really so tough. I can tell you that I think it was one of the toughest things I had to go through at that time in my entire life.
But then I might say that, if this chance has come, you were able to conceive, and then it is lost.
Yes.
Mixed feelings.
Because you look at the time you have waited to get pregnant, and then this has come and you've lost it, and then you think, am I going to wait other more years more than I waited? So it was really, really such a challenge to us, a challenge to the doctors, a challenge to family. Yes, but because of the faith that I have, I was able to go through it. And the beauty of it is that 5 months down the road, we conceived again. It was not an easy pregnancy. There were issues. I would be bleeding while pregnant. It was basically not an easy pregnancy. But with the help of God and our doctor, whom I want to appreciate so much, Dr. Sibambi of Nakasero Hospital, we were able to move the journey until 35 weeks. So at 35 weeks, the doctor told me that it was a Thursday, I remember. I went to see him in Nakasero. He checked me, everything was okay. And he told me, come next Wednesday and we deliver this baby, because he didn't want to wait. So I go home. That was a Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we had guests at home. So I spent the day taking care of the guests. And then in the evening, on retiring, I realized that day my baby was not kicking the way they were kicking before. But because I had been busy throughout the day, I said, maybe I didn't concentrate, or I'm tired, that's why I'm not feeling this baby. But the mind and the instinct is very, very powerful. I could not settle. I said, this baby has not kicked. I told my husband, and then he said, maybe it's because you've been up and down today, and they could be tired and they are sleeping. So I called the doctor, and I told him that I'm not feeling the baby kick, move as usual. So I don't know. So he told me, take something sweet, like juice that is very sweet, and then you observe after 5 minutes and see what happens. So we did that. I remember I took, I think, orange juice. And then after 5 minutes, there was nothing. After 5 minutes, there was nothing. It was, we waited for like 2 hours, and then I called back the doctor. Yes. So when I called him, he said, hey, I don't know what that is, but that was around, I think, like past midnight. So he told me, let's meet at the hospital early morning. When you get there, tell the sonographer in the lab to do an ultrasound scan as I come. So we woke up so early. By 7, we were at Nakasero Hospital. So when we got there, I went into the scan. And this sonographer asks me, when did you hear this baby kick?
No, those questions.
Yes. So I got scared because that was a rare question. So I told her, I think Saturday, yes, around Saturday, because that is at least when I remember that this baby was kicking. So she told me, who have you come with? I said, my husband is outside there. So she went, called him in, and then called another person, another medic, and the two went on that screen. So I would see them look there, look at each other, look at the screen, look at each other, and they are not talking. And they knew the history of what we had gone through. So I remember her telling my husband, unfortunately, we are not seeing the heartbeat. There is no heartbeat. So for me, I think that's the last I remember.
What runs in your mind at that particular moment?
Yes, of course. I remember in my heart saying, God, for the very first time I feel you have disappointed me. Yes, you have disappointed me, because I thought we really had this baby, but the baby was no more. So I think that's the last I remember. They transferred me to a different room. The doctor at that time had come, and then when I got back to my normal senses, they took me through counseling. The doctor was also so disturbed. He didn't know what the issue was, because imagine I had been there Thursday, and this is Monday morning, and I'm supposed to give birth on Wednesday, because I had to go through, was supposed to go through elective cesarean, but the baby is no more. So we had to, my husband had to discuss with the doctor to see the best way that I could deliver this baby, this sleeping baby, that was not as painful as the pain I was going through. So the doctor and my husband agreed that I go through cesarean, because the doctor wanted to see exactly what the cause of death was. Pushing the baby could have maybe altered some evidence, so he wanted actual evidence. So my husband said, after all, I don't want her to go through the pain of pushing when there is no baby. So I went in for immediate cesarean, and when they opened to remove the baby, they found that the baby's cord, the baby's cord had gone round her arm, and then, because they play so much with their hands, as she was playing, the cord got disconnected, got a tear here. So there was no oxygen supply. That's the reason the baby died. But that gave us relief, at least to know that it's not something else, but it was an accident, a cord accident. So usually they say the doctor said when the cord is in the neck, they don't overplay with their neck. So that is an advantage than if it's on the arm. So mine, the baby was on the arm. Yes, so we lose that baby too. Yes, we lose that baby too. That was hard. I can confess that was hard.
Very hard.
Yes, I remember I would be at home and I feel I'm alone in this world, like I am alone. But yes,
Because I'm imagining at that stage you've already done a shopping.
Yes,
everything.
everything. We were just ready to give birth.
Oh dear.
Yes. But like I've told you, I'm a strong Christian, a born again Christian. Now, when we would be praying for this child, we got different words of like I can call them prophecies about us having children. And I remember one particular lady that met me one time, and she told me, "You're believing God for a baby, and God says He'll give you a baby boy."
Oh.
So for me, when I got pregnant, this other pregnancy that at least took long, up to 35 weeks, I knew I was carrying a boy because that was my faith and the belief I had. So when I even in shopping, I did not check the sex of the baby when I was pregnant because I was sure it was a boy, and I had even shopped for a boy. So on delivering, my sleeping baby was a girl. So I said, does God lie? No. Anyway, I said, God, your ways are not my ways, but I choose to trust you.
And didn't you question God at that moment?
Of course you do. As a human being, I did. I would say, but God, you spoke. But God, I trusted you. But God, you've taken me up to this stage, and then this baby dies just 3 days to delivery. And then I would be saying, God, what testimony do I have to tell others? I remember I was even so scared to move out of our gate, going anywhere. I had told myself, I'm not going to get out of the gate. I will just be using the behind gate so that I don't go where people see me. Because where we live, people, I think, had tagged me, this woman who doesn't give birth.
Oh dear.
So this testimony is also, this baby also goes, and I'm thinking, now what is the world saying?
What are they going to say now?
Yes. But when I was there, I saw all of them come to see me, like all women from the neighborhood. They came, encouraged me, prayed with me, and so I got the confidence to again go into public. So, but when we lost that baby, I remember when we were leaving hospital, the doctor counseled us and said, it is very unfortunate, but let us trust God. He's a Christian doctor. Let us trust God again. So he told us, you don't have to wait. Anytime you feel ready, try. Even if it's cesarean, we will see how to go about it. So we were so lucky that I think at the end of our second month, we got pregnant. But it also came through a prophecy. I remember there's a lady from Kabale. I had never met her. I didn't know her. She called me and told me. Now, I had a maid who was coming from their village. So I think when she went back, she was narrating our story. So that lady called me and said, so-and-so told me about your story. And when I was praying for you, the Lord told me that you are getting pregnant. In fact, you go and check. You could be pregnant. So I think that very week we went to check, and indeed
it was true.
It was true.
Wow.
I was pregnant. So we carried this baby also with challenges, of course. Yes, I remember there was also bleeding. I had to be on baby aspirin until I delivered. Yeah, but at 37 weeks, I think at 28 weeks, every week I would be in the hospital. Every week I would go for checkup. The doctor wanted to be sure that this baby is fine. So at 36 weeks, he told me, come next week and we deliver. So I went at 37 weeks. We delivered my son, Israel, who is now 5.
Wow.
Yes, so that took away a lot of pressure, the pain, the stress. And when we did for Israel, I checked when I was pregnant to confirm whether it was a boy or girl, because in my heart I knew God had told me He would give me a boy.
Yeah.
So when I went to the scanner and they told me a boy, I remember saying, "Yes, God, this is the boy you talked about." And even getting his name, I had gotten his name way before, like in our second year of marriage. I had gone to the prayer mountain with a friend praying for conception. And then as we were praying, we got a name to give the child, Israel. So I had already a name.
The name was already
It
there.
was already there, yes. So we called him Israel. I gave him Israel. The father gave him Gardner Orinjuna. So my son is Gardner Orinjuna Israel, 5 years old now.
Wow, we bless the Lord.
The Lord so much. But that's not all. Of course, there is no woman who wants to have, okay, I don't know whether there are women who want to have one child, but me, I would have desired to have many more.
Another,
Yes, another. So we have never used any family planning in our marriage. So 7 months along after I had given birth to Israel, I conceive again. I conceive again, and then, yes, I'm thinking boy, and then now we are going to have a girl.
Wow.
So I carried this pregnancy at about 20 weeks when I had gone for my antenatal checkup. The doctor sent me to do an ultrasound scan. So when I did the ultrasound scan, the sonographer told me there is insufficient water. There is insufficient water for this baby. But I did not know the magnitude of what that meant or the effect, because I'm not a medic. So I got my results, took them to the doctor, and then I remember him making a heavy sigh, and then he said, I didn't think we would go through this again.
Oh, no.
Now, I'm thinking, go through this again, what? So I said, doctor, what does that mean? He said, Hilda, I don't think this baby will make it because this water is insufficient and there is no medicine to increasing this water.
Oh, dear.
So I told him, doctor, you know what? We've come a long way and God has done miracles for us. So allow me go home, at least pray to God and see whether this water he can increase this water, because I believe he can. So he told me, Hilda, it's okay. You go, you'll come back after, I think, 10 days. He gave me 10 days. So in those 10 days, I was praying and drinking water. I would put a 5 jerrycan of water on the table before me, and I would drink water the whole day. I would be drinking water, going for my short call,
with
like
hope
that,
of
with
the
hope
water
that it will refill, it will increase.
Yeah.
So maybe what I didn't tell you, when we went through too much when I went through too much of waiting, I said, let me leave my job. I left my job and decided to just pray. I would wake up in the morning, get into the car, and I go to Mutundwe Christian Fellowship, if you know that place, at Pastor Tom's place. That was my job for 2 years.
Oh.
So even that time when I was giving birth to Israel and getting pregnant after, I didn't have a job. So I would just sit home, drink water and pray. So after 10 days, I went back. They did another ultrasound scan. And definitely, the water was even less than it was before. It was before, yes. So the doctor said, Hilda, I don't think this baby will make it. So he told me, is it okay we remove the baby? Because to him, he told me that even if this baby grew, he would not be a normal baby because the water was insufficient. Yeah. So actually, he wasn't growing. He had become static. So I told him, doctor, no, let me try again and push and see. So I pushed, I think up to 27 weeks. In the 28th week, when I went back to the hospital, there was no heartbeat. Oh. Yes, there was no heartbeat. So I went through that again. But this time the doctor said, no, Hilda, let's try and push so that we at least have more chances of getting another baby after. So he helped me push with some very rare procedure where they used the catheter because they couldn't induce me. I still had a scar which was still fresh, and then he didn't want to take me through Caesar. So
Wait, even Israel, did you go through Caesar?
yes,
Oh,
I went through Caesar. Yes, I went through Caesar to deliver Israel because remember, I still had a fresh scar.
Yeah.
Yes, for Israel, I conceived in the second month after, so there is no way I would have pushed. So this time round, he said, "Let's try." He told me he consulted other doctors abroad and around, and he decided to do that procedure. They put a catheter, pump water in the catheter, then they leave you in one position. The water keeps moving until it reaches the cervix, and then the cervix opens. That is actually when you're lucky. It's not that it's a guarantee that it happens. But I was so lucky that it opened. So when it opened, labor started, and then he helped me deliver. They pulled out the baby because the baby was dead. It couldn't move, so they pulled out the baby. It was a baby boy.
Oh.
Yes, a baby boy. So that one was also born sleeping, but because I had Israel, it was my source of comfort. Yes, it was my source of comfort. I knew that the God that had given me Israel would do it again. Yes, and even then, this time I was 100% sure that I'm not barren. You know that the biggest issue is, yes, am I really barren? Because we've seen cases of women who have all their life not given birth. So before you conceive, you keep thinking, oh God, am I barren? No.
And some would even wish to have the miscarriages, at least conceive. And
actually, every woman who is going through infertility or hardships with childbearing will tell you that you desire to just conceive and lose, even if you get a miscarriage, but you know that, hey, I can also conceive. It is that bad. And I have a heart for women who have not gotten children. May the Lord give them children. Yeah, so we went through that, but with God's help, the support of my husband, my family and friends, we were able to pull through. That was in 2018.
Okay.
No, 2019. So we live our lives as usual. I get back to work. I got a job, went back to work. And then we are believing God for another child.
Of course. And
life is moving on, and we are happy. And then in January 2022, we had just come from Christmas. We had a good time in the village for Christmas. I'm married in Tungamo, where I'm just a few miles where I'm born. So we had come back, and one morning before we reported for work, we woke up and we were still in bed, like that chilling time in bed with my husband. And then I felt strongly an urge to touch my breast. I never used to touch my breast. Like, I'm not someone who always checked for lumps and what. Because the reason I never used to so much is because I remember when my mom was sick, going through chemotherapy, I was there nursing her at Cancer Institute. One day she told me, my daughter, this thing is too difficult. I pray that none of my children will ever go through it. So in my heart, I knew that, my mom made a prayer and I can never get breast cancer. Never. We are 5 girls. So I was 100% sure that my mom made that prayer and I know God had it. So I was never bothered. I knew that my life, no, breast cancer is not really for me because of what my mother said. So now I get the urge to touch my breast. And you know what? I took my left hand and went and touched my right breast. Exactly where I put my hand, my fingers, I felt a lump. I felt a lump which was not usual. I touched the rest of the breast tissue. It was different from what I had touched. I touched the left. It didn't have any lump. I told my husband, Love, I call him Love. I said, Love, you touch, I felt something. So he touched and said, no, because of your mom's experience, I think you overthink.
True.
Yes. But I said, no, this is
not
not
the
something
normal.
usual, something normal. And my spirit became uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, to the extent that I called a certain OG of mine who is a midwife at a certain clinic. They do breast screening. And I asked her whether she was at the clinic that day so that I go and they look at that lamb. So she told me, yes, I'm in. I woke up, had breakfast, dressed up, and told my husband, I'm going for checkup. He said, okay, you go, but me, I know there is nothing. So I get there, and then she books me to the doctor. So when I went to the doctor told me, because they do breast and cervical screening, so the doctor told me, you get on the bed and I check the cervix first. So when I was going to remove my underwear to go on the bed, I realized my period had come, had started coming. So I told him, doctor, my period had come. So he told me, since it has come, I cannot check the cervix now. So let's just screen the breasts. So he touched me, he hand screening, and never felt anything. He told me, I've not felt anything, you're fine. So I told him, doctor, for me in the morning, I felt something.
I thought you would feel relieved.
No. I think the Spirit of God was at work. So I said, doctor, you bring your hand. I took his hand and touched the lamb. Then he touched and said, by the way, I feel something now, but I think it's a hormonal cyst because of the period. So he told me at a certain age, these hormonal cysts come before periods, and then after periods, they dissolve or they reduce. So he told me, I don't mind about it. So I left. I went home. I told my husband, I said, that I told you there is nothing. There is nothing. But there is no one who knows our bodies than ourselves.
So you went back home, but you still felt like you're not contented.
I said, this thing. I said, okay, let me wait. Since he has said that when the period goes, it will dissolve. I will go back. I'll check and then see. And indeed, the first month, it dissolved. It didn't dissolve, but it reduced, it shrank and became really as if you don't feel it. The second month, the same. The third month, the same. The fourth month, after periods, it did not go. It stayed the same. I got restless. I got uncomfortable. I told my husband, you know what? Let's go and see a cancer doctor. He told me, are you sure? There is no cancer. I said, please, let's go and see a cancer doctor. Now, my husband is very supportive and he believes in me. So we went to Zambia hospital and went to see an oncologist. So when I got there, she asked me different questions. Have you ever taken fertility drugs? I told her yes. So she told me, usually people who take fertility drugs, they get something they call, I've forgotten it, but it's also like a cyst. It's something like a cyst. So she said, but not to take chances, you go and do a mammogram. Now, a mammogram is an advanced scan. Actually, it's an X-ray of the breast, and it's more advanced than an ultrasound scan. I had done an ultrasound before, and they told me there was nothing to worry about. It was a cyst. So she said, no, let's do a mammogram. So I did a mammogram. I did it from specialized hospital, Molago Women's Hospital, and results came after 3 days, and they were suspicious. The results were saying suspicious lump. So they recommended that I do a biopsy. A biopsy is where they take some flesh from that very lump, and then they take it to the lab and test it. So we went and I did a biopsy from LMK lab. They say it's the best lab. They gave us 10 days, but results came after 7 days, and they were positive for breast cancer. So you can imagine.
Yeah. How do you receive this news? And of course, you receive it, the family.
It was
Because I'm now imagining, after all that you've gone through, yes, with the babies, and then this other ordeal has come in.
yeah. First
Which
of
kind
all,
of
I
strength
remember
did you have?
when I went and they took a sample. Between that time of waiting and the time I received my results, I got a dream. And in the dream, someone was telling me, it's a cancer, but still young. So by the time results came, myself, I was ready for anything. I was ready for either positive or negative results. But somehow, somewhere, my spirit was telling me, this must be cancer.
And
So,
you know what I'm learning from your story is that God really speaks to us.
oh yes, he does.
And there are things we should not take lightly.
So much so. On a daily, God speaks. Only that most times we don't put attention to what he speaks. But this, it was in a dream, and someone was telling me, Hilda, she even said it in our language, nika kansa konkakachari kato. So when I woke up, I said, God, are you saying something? So I prepared myself. So when the results were ready, they called us to go and pick the results. So my husband got to the lab before me, and they gave him the results. So he opened them, read them, and they were positive. So he called me and said, where are you? I said, I'm on my way coming. But have you got the results? He said, where are you? I said, I'm around Bugolobi, coming to Nakasero, to the lab. He said, you find me at Centenary Park. So I asked him, how are the results? He said, you come, we look at them.
Yeah,
I don't understand them. You come, we
yeah.
look at them. So when I got there, he handed over the envelope to me, and they were positive. Now, the first thing that came to my mind is, you don't have a long time to live, because I had seen my mom. My mom was diagnosed in 2015, 2016, she was gone.
Oh.
Yes, just a few months, because for her she was stage 4.
Oh, dear.
So what came into my mind was, you don't have time now. And all I was thinking about was my son, who was that time 3. And then looking at this husband that lost his mother at 2 years, is going to lose his wife just like that. So I said, God, I have always loved you and trusted you and believed you. I don't know what my fate is, but take over this journey. I don't know what it holds, but take it over. So I had to take those results to the doctor in Zambia. And then I told my husband, can we move? He told me, I don't think I can move. So I said, should I go alone? He said, I don't know, but I don't have the strength to move. So anyway, he was so scared, he was confused, because remember, we nursed my mother together, so he knew the pain, the challenges, and he knew how it had ended that time. And so maybe in his mind he was thinking, again. So I went to Zambia, saw the doctor, and they said, now you're a cancer institute case. We have to refer you. So now, remember, I've told you we are 5 girls and 1 boy, because the other boy died, and my dad. So you can imagine what that did to my family. We had lost my mom to that, so
and then
it was so shattering. We are a Christian family, very staunch born again, my dad and my siblings, but it was a challenging moment. But all they could do was pray for me. So when we went there, they said, I'm a cancer institute case now. So we had to sit down first and then say, do we tell people? We don't tell people. But I told my husband, it's not something we have caused ourselves. It's not something to be shy about. It's
So
not
the
something
sick
to be
person
quiet
was
about.
strong.
Yes, it's not something to be quiet about. So we have to tell people. Because I told my dad and my siblings and him and a few close friends of mine. So we decided to say, let's talk about it. Because I like talking about things because I feel relief.
Yeah.
Yes, and I know that it encourages someone. Someone could be thinking, I am going through the worst. For example, maybe your husband has left you, maybe you have lost a job, maybe, and you're thinking, oh my God, I think I'm going through the worst. But when it comes to health, I think for me, it is the worst, especially cancer. Cancer is tagged almost as a death sentence. So we started telling people, we went to the Cancer Institute, saw a doctor who asked us to do different tests, very expensive tests, by the way. Cancer treatment is very expensive. But God was faithfully provided. We were able to do the tests. And while we were there, my friends, some of my friends came up with an idea. Because I remember, like I've told you, I like talking about things. When my mom passed, I told my friends, I will never go to Cancer Institute because of what I went through, what I saw there, the trauma that I saw there. And they used to come and check on my mom. So they saw what was there. So I think somehow God was at work. And they said, but you know what? We can support Hilda go for treatment away from Uganda.
Wow.
So they told my husband, of course, it's very costly. I know that on his own he couldn't manage. But somehow he accepted and said, if you're willing to support, yes, let's try. So my friends, who I want to appreciate so much, I have close friends. I have friends who I went with to school. I have friends of church. I have friends who I've met at work, different categories of friends. But I have one group called the Noble Wives, where I am a member. We are 13 ladies. They are the ones that spearheaded this campaign. They looked for money. At my workplace, they gave me money. Almost everyone who heard about my sickness was able to contribute.
And we are learning, of course, the power of network.
The
and also
power.
the friends that you have.
Oh yes, because some of these friends, the Noble Wives I'm telling you about, some of them are my nursery school friends. We've come that long way, yes.
Up to now,
yes. Some of them I met when
Is
we
it
were in
still
school.
possible?
It is very possible. It is very possible. Those I went to school with, those that I worked with. I have friends I am now 43. I think from the time I was 3, because that's when I joined nursery school, I have friends.
Because these days, you know, we have this saying, if you don't mind about me, I'll not. So some people drop off, and then you go with those ones that you go with.
Yes, but God keeps some in your life for a purpose, and they actually cease to be friends, but they become sisters. So the Noble Wives are now my sisters. They were there when I was giving birth to Israel. They would nurse Israel.
Through that journey, then this journey has come.
They make birthdays for Israel.
Wow.
They have been there. Yes, and I really want to appreciate them. All of them, they know themselves, the Noble Wives. Thank you so much for being in my life. But like you have said, God speaks. Now, this I got to know along the way. The very first person who talked about my going abroad is my primary school friend, actually my nursery school friend, but who I'm not so close with, like we talk all the time. She's a friend, but a friend you take even months without talking to. So when she called me and she said, Hilda, she's called Molly. She said, Hilda, I've had ABCD. How are you? I said, I'm fine. Where are you? I'm at Mulago. She said, Hilda, Mulago. I remember what you went through with your mom. No, I think we can do something and you go away. So she told my other friends about it and everybody bought in. So And later, the Lord is amazing. Later, when I was doing treatment, someday when I was doing chemotherapy, I just felt led to go to my Facebook. I had taken so long without going to my Facebook. So when I went to Facebook, I checked text people had been sending me before. And then I was drawn to one particular text from a certain OG of mine who lives in the UK. She's even older than me. She's just an OG, but who at least I had as a Facebook friend. So she had sent me a message like 2 years back. And in this message, the message was saying, Hilda, I had a dream about you last night, and as if you had fallen and wounded your arm. And I was telling Mole that, we need to take Hilda for treatment. So Mole picked you, and together with other friends, and they took you. So now it related to the Mole that had. You see how the Lord speaks.
I know.
So immediately I said, when I read it, I said, God, I know you're with me in this. Anyway, we raised the money and we were able to go to India with my husband.
You went with your husband?
Yes, I went with my husband.
Israel.
Yes.
Back home.
At that time, actually, I realized that when it comes to health, like, you want to be fine for him. So I said, God, even if I go,
win this fight.
yes, let me go fight for this boy because he needs me. So we went to India. When we got there, when we were here, when they did the test, the doctors told me, Hilda, you're going through chemotherapy. After chemotherapy, you'll do surgery, we'll cut off the breast. And then after, you'll do radiotherapy. That was the treatment line that they were suggesting.
So when they found out, which stage?
I was at stage 2. Stage 2, and it was estrogen positive here. And then progesterone was negative. There is another hormone they call HER2. It was also negative. So mine was estrogen positive. So when we went to India, when you get to India, they do their fresh tests. They did their fresh tests and discovered, yes, it was stage 2, and it was estrogen positive and progesterone positive and HER2 negative. So the beauty of going to India is that they have advanced equipment. There is something they call a PET scan, where they take you through a scan. They inject some medicine into your body. Then they take you through a scan. It scans you from head to toe, and wherever the cancer is, it's able to tell. And then it can also tell the margins of how far the cancer has gone. So when the doctor did his assessment, he said, tomorrow we are going in for surgery. Surgery?
To cut off the breast.
So, first of all, remember, when we were going, we knew we would go, have a second opinion. Then maybe they start us on chemo. We come back as we look for the money, and then go back and do surgery and the rest. So here the doctor is telling us tomorrow we are going for surgery. And surgery is very costly. Yes. So I remember my husband telling him, doctor, you give us a day to at least prepare our minds, and then we come. So we go to the hotel where we were staying, and he tried to make phone calls here and there, and we were able to raise the money for surgery. So the next day we went to hospital. So I went in for surgery, but the surgery, we knew the obvious surgery that I was going to undergo. They were going to cut off the breast. Yes. So I get out of theater, and my husband tells me he was seated at the door of theater. He didn't enter. But when I got out, I woke up when I was in the ICU alone, and the nurse was seated somewhere in the room. So I looked at myself, and I saw I had 2 breasts. But then I was bandaged. I had things connected to my breast. So I didn't understand. So in that moment when I was just there, my husband walked in, and then I told him, But love, I have breasts. Have they worked on me? Now, in my mind, I thought maybe I had entered theater and my pressure had shot.
Yeah.
And
You
maybe
blacked out.
they didn't work on me. So he said, hey, let me call the doctor. So he called the doctor. But he tells me when the doctor was getting out of theater, he told him that I've finished my work. It was successful. I've left the plastic surgery team doing their work. So, and then he told him, and I have a surprise for you. So he didn't know what surprise it was. So when he called the doctor said, yes, that's the surprise I was telling you. I didn't cut off the breast.
Wow.
Yeah. So they removed the lump and then they got skin from the back. They got flesh from the back and then they grafted it in the breast.
Wow.
So I was able to maintain
What a relief.
my
Wow.
breast. What a big relief. Yes, what a big relief, because it's not easy having one breast, especially when you see my breasts, they are not small breasts. So having one big one and then nothing here would have been hard. But if it's for life's sake, it is well. It is well.
Yeah.
And then also, some of the things my husband tells me he admired most about me were my breasts. So in
So
my
you
heart,
felt-
yes, I would be saying, God, I don't know how this man is going to handle, but just help him.
How
But
will it be like?
yes, but he had accepted it. We
Yeah.
had all accepted it, that my breast was going, and we had it was okay for us to be without. But there was a silent prayer like, God, if one day you could spare this breast. But of course I knew that was an impossible prayer to answer, because it was obvious the breast had to go. But here we are.
But here we are.
Yes, and the Lord spares
Wow.
my breast, preserves
Wow.
my breast.
Wow.
So I have 2 breasts.
Wow.
Yeah. So after surgery, I went through, after I think about 15 days, we started on chemotherapy. I did 16 cycles of chemotherapy. 16 cycles of chemotherapy. Now, I don't know whether you know what chemotherapy is, but it is one harsh treatment. It is one harsh treatment. It takes away your appetite completely. Your hair falls off completely from every part of your body.
Did yours fall off completely?
It fell off completely. Like you see my cheek, from head to toe, I was like my cheek here, the way you see it. No single hair on my body stayed. Actually, mine fell off after just the first cycle. It fell off. I remember I had braids, but I would just pull them off, and it just falls off like that. You go to the bathroom, and then the rest that was remaining is all washed out when you're bathing. So I didn't have hair for, I think, a year when I was going through chemotherapy.
Oh. And maybe Hilda, as we try to wrap up this, so when you come back to Uganda, how was the reception coming back to Uganda?
We came to Uganda after chemotherapy. We didn't do all the chemotherapy there.
In there, okay.
Yes, we came, finished it from here, went back for radiotherapy, then came back. So, but they kept me on what they call hormonal therapy. Now, of course, with cancer, people will always think you're not okay, you're not fine. But I started gaining my strength, and I went back early this year. They checked, and there was no more cancer in my body.
Wow.
So that was the greatest joy, the greatest relief for everyone. My husband, during my treatment, because his aunt nursed me, he got high blood pressure.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but it is now a relief, and I am very confident that I have many years to live. Because when I was going through treatment, I kept on saying, God, I want to hear from you, not anyone else. And one day, my husband dreamt and woke up and told me, I've dreamt that they were giving you 91 million at your workplace. So I would have been excited as a human, but immediately I felt the Holy Spirit tell me Psalms 91. So I went to Psalms 91 and I read it. If you go through Psalms 91, and everyone viewing, you can go through it. It talks about God protecting you from a deadly disease.
Wow.
And at the end of it all, he says, with long life, I will satisfy you.
Wow.
So that gave me, that I think that's the day I received my healing.
Wow.
I got the strength to fight. Even through treatment, I would say, God, you told me that with long life you'll satisfy me. And that's what I still stand on today. With long life, the Lord will satisfy me. Yes.
Yeah, it's very important to believe, because I think if you're not a believer, this journey is not easy.
It's not
an
easy.
one.
It's not easy. And for what I've told you, it has been a marathon of challenges.
Yeah, true.
It only takes faith. And cancer is a battle of the mind.
Also, the people around you.
Yes, definitely.
Very
the people around you. Very, very important.
Yeah.
Now, my husband was my greatest support. You know, this is someone who is your better half.
Yeah.
So when they are strong or when they are encouraging, you'll fight on. But when they break down or maybe run away, believe me, you can lose the battle. You can give up. Because we are in a group of fellow fighters, and a good number of them will tell you that after the diagnosis, their husbands left. Yes, and most of them, it has been a hard journey, very hard.
And you talk about it, a group of fighters, and we take the example of Uganda.
Yes.
People in Mulago are really going through a lot.
Yes, they are going through quite a lot. Cancer.
Because I'm imagining you had friends that came in for you. Yeah. You have a husband that supported you. Now, for these people, what really happens?
Now, I
am a Ugandan. I love my
country, but there are times when you go to Mulago and you come back when you're heartbroken and sick and traumatized, and you just wonder. You find people sleeping down. Someone has no caretaker. They've maybe come from Kotido, no caretaker. They have no money. They are just depending on hospital food. So it is sad. It is very sad.
It is sad. Yeah. And with your fellow fighters, with the sad situation in Uganda, are you thinking of, coming out maybe to give a hand?
Yes. Actually, on that group, we whoever any fighter meets out there, we enroll them on the group. And usually we share challenges. People who are going through treatment and they have no medicine, we collect some money that we can give to them. Those that have no food, and then we are also trying to talk to different organizations, different NGOs, to see how can cancer patients in Uganda be helped. Even to talk to the Ministry of Health and Mulago itself, how can things get better? For example, I would really desire if the president would consider buying a PET scan for Uganda, because a PET scan is an advanced technology equipment that can help our cancer doctors here. We have very good doctors, but they are limited in the equipment they use the facility. So if they could buy that PET scan, and we begin from there. And then also maybe decentralizing the Cancer Institute, so that someone does not have to come from Kotido, from Kisoro, and is coming to Mulago. No relative, no nothing. So if they could decentralize the cancer treatment and it goes outside there to those government hospitals, very important, it would help a lot. Because if I'm near my home, I get food from home, I have the support of my family, they are able to come and see me. It makes a very, very big difference. Yes.
And Hilda, yes, as we get to the end of the conversation, you've been through a lot. And in the beginning, I said this is an emotional story. But we are happy that, at the end of it all, we give glory to God.
Amen.
Yeah. So, which advice would you give to a woman, a struggling woman? She might not be sick, but, going through other several issues, as, women go through a lot. But also with your example, the life that you've gone through, waiting on a child, all the infertility issues that you went through, and then here comes cancer. What would you advise a fellow woman who is going through maybe what you're going through, what you went through, or not also particularly what you went through? Any other challenge in society?
Yes, for everyone listening to me, especially a woman, women will go through several challenges. They are social, they are health, they are family, financial, different challenges. But I would encourage you to tell yourself that this is just a phase. it's a season of my life and it will pass. There is no season that ends. It rains, but then the sun comes up.
Yeah.
So everyone going through anything, whatever challenge it is, I don't think we have been tested to the point of being buried. As long as we are still alive, tell yourself, I know this is a season, it will pass. And then above all, have faith in God, trust God, because God is the overall. If He wakes up, if God decides that you go today, it will not even be cancer, it will not be a disease, but something else will take you. So the fact that you still have breath, trust God, believe God, and within your heart, be a fighter, be resilient. No matter what you're going through, you tell yourself that tomorrow the sun will come up. Much as it's raining heavily today, but tomorrow the sun will come up. And then also to advise fellow women, let us keep doing these checkups. Once in a while, touch your breasts and see, because it's better,
Hilda,
early.
sometimes we are really scared.
Yes.
Before even you go for a checkup, you say, how can I go for a checkup? And then what? What next?
Yes, that is the heart of a fighter that I'm talking about. You tell yourself that even if it is positive, I will fight. And indeed, with God, you can fight and pull through, because I have pulled through. Yeah. There are several others that have pulled through. So don't fear to check.
And many of us will wait until we
are go for your pap smears. Go for, if you feel some stomach discomfort and you think they are ulcers and these ulcers are not healing, you go to a cancer doctor and say, but doctor, can we really check and see whether it's not cancer? It is better when they discover the cancer when it's early, you're able to pull through, than if it's late. Because my mother was discovered at stage 4. She couldn't make it. A few months down, she went. So kindly always check yourselves, fellow viewers, fellow women. Even men get breast cancer and these other cancers. So if you can't go for these tests, but above all, believe God and trust God that it is not your portion. But even if it comes and it is you now, it is you the sick one, have the heart to fight with God. Have the heart to fight, because cancer is a battle of the mind. If the mind gives up, you go completely. You go. But if you say, I'm going to fight this, and I want to thank the other cancer survivors who encouraged me. They would call me, some would call me and tell me what they've gone through, how they've pulled through, how they have their diet they have been feeding on, different things. And so that also helps you to get the strength to fight on.
Excuse me. Yeah, so also, Hilda, your last remarks to your people, your family, your friends.
Yes, my last remarks is that I would like to thank, first of all, my husband. My husband has been through a lot. For us, our marriage, the way they say, for better, for worse, we started with worse. The worst part came first, but he has stuck. He has been there. I really want to thank you, my husband, Rutasanga Katono, for standing with me, for being there with me. My friends, I cannot thank you enough. My friends, the noble wives, my friends from different categories. Thank you so much, my OGs, whoever contributed and supported me emotionally, financially, morally, and that phone call that you made, the prayer that you made. Thank you so much. And to my bosses at work, my workmates, thank you so much for being there where I was not. They stepped in, they supported me. And for even to fellow fighters, thank you so much for the encouragement. We always meet and share our experiences, encourage one another. Thank you so much. And also to my family where I'm born and my family where I'm married, the Katono family, the Rutasanga family, thank you so much. And everyone who will see this story, kindly listen and be encouraged, and tell yourself that if Hilda could go through this, if Hilda could go through cancer treatment, and she is standing now saying, yes, she is a victor, you can go through anything. So trust God, be resilient, be courageous, tell yourself that tomorrow the sun will rise.
And to Israel.
And to Israel, my sweetest son. Israel, I love you so much. And I know God is going to give me life and I will raise you to be a responsible citizen, as a
Yeah.
child that fears the Lord. And I pray that you'll never go through cancer.
Amen.
In the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Yes.
Wow, it has been a beautiful story, so inspirational and encouraging. I mean, we believe in the power of storytelling. You might be going through something, but when you take time to listen to what other people are going through, I think yours might even be lighter. So we have these fighters. Women are supposed to be strong. Yeah, Hilda has been strong for herself, for her family, for her child, and you should be strong as well. Yes, it has been an amazing story. Thank you so much, Hilda, for coming through.
Thank you too for your invitation.
And I believe this story is going to, go around. You
Yes.
can support us, share the link with your family and friends. Let them watch this beautiful story, share a comment, and like the conversation.
Yeah, and whoever is in need of counsel for someone going through cancer, maybe a relative, I'm available. I've availed myself. I will come and encourage you. I'll come and tell you that, yes, the sun will rise again. You will be well.
Maybe you can share your number.
Yes, my number is 0772877708. Then Airtel 0705877708.
Wow. Because, also, talking to these people is one of
the therapies. Yes. It's one of the therapies, and great therapies, by the way. Yeah.
Wow.
Seeing someone like me now, I look normal. You cannot
I
tell
know.
that I went through just a few years ago.
Normal
I
and
was
so
going through breast
beautiful.
cancer. Thank you. But maybe you'll show my pictures, how I looked.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, it gets better.
And to Hilda, it's really an inspirational story, so inspiring. And I believe whatever you're going through is not the worst, and it's not enough for you to give up as a woman. You are a strong woman, we are strong women, so we should really, pick ourselves up and fight. And also take an example, listen to these beautiful stories, and also reach out to Hilda if you need counseling. She can help you out. Yes, thank you so much for watching us. I've been Madreen, your host. See you next week. Bye.